going to talk about a story today that takes place in 1960s California. The story centers around the main character of Delphine, who is 11 years old. She is smart and brave and overly responsible for an 11-year-old girl. She takes care of her younger sisters, Vonetta and Fern, and lives in Brooklyn with her dad, Papa, and grandmother, Big Ma. One summer, Papa decides that the girls need to get to know their mother, the mother that they haven't seen since Fern was a baby, about 6 years earlier. The only thing is that Cecile, their mother, lives in Oakland, California. So Papa decides to put all three girls on a plane out to Oakland to get to know their mom. When they arrive there, their interaction with their mom is completely different from what they expected. Their mom is standoffish and doesn't necessarily want to spend the summer with them. So Delphine and her sisters try to find a way to immerse themselves into their mother's world. Rather than spending every waking moment with her, they find themselves down the block at the People's Center, which is a community center or a summer camp for kids that is sponsored by the Black Panther Party. Little by little over the course of the story, Delphine finds a place in her mother's world along with her sisters, and they began to live together in their home. I'm going to read a part of the book that takes place right when Delphine, Vonetta, and Fern arrive at Cecile's home. And they had just gotten off the plane, they've been traveling all day, and they are hungry for dinner. We stood as one, looking up at her, me in the front, Vonetta and Fern at my sides. She was tall and broad-shouldered, where Pa was just tall. As hungry as I was, all I could think was that they made you dance with a boy in the 6th grade, that I would never look right dancing with a boy, and for that I had Cecile to thank. I spoke first. We're hungry. As usual, my sister's voices followed on top of mine. Vonetta, what's for supper? Then Fern, hungry, hungry, she rubbed her belly. We made a picture, us looking up at her and her looking down at us. In the animal kingdom, the mother bird brings back all she's gathered for the day and drops it into the mouths of each bird squawking to be fed. Cecile looked at us like it didn't occur to her that we would be hungry and she'd have to do what mothers do, feed their young. I'm no Big Ma in the kitchen, but I would have opened a can of beans and fried up some Franks. I can bake a chicken and boil potatoes. I would have never let my long-gone daughters travel nearly 3,000 miles without turning on the stove. She said, what do you want from me? Supper, I answered. It's past 8 o'clock. We haven't had a real food since breakfast. With Big Ma and Papa. I kept going. That was, I glanced at my wrist, 9 hours and 12 minutes ago. Vonetta next. Airline food don't count. Fern last. Surely don't. She was still looking down at us if we'd thrown a monkey wrench into her quiet Tuesday evening. Then she spoke. Where's the money your father gave you? I crossed my arms. There was no way she was getting our money. That money's for Disneyland, I told her. To go on all the rides and meet Tinkerbell. This was the first time we heard Cecile laugh, and she laughed like the crazy mother she was turning out to be. Is Tinkerbell going to feed you? She was still laughing. We didn't think she was funny. We said nothing rather than talk back and get slapped. Look, she said, if you want to eat, hand over the money. I stared her down, something I'd never try with Big Ma. Cecile didn't seem to care. She said, fine, I got plenty of air sandwiches here. Go on back to the room, open your mouths and catch one. The stare down ended right there. I unlaced my right tennis shoe, wriggled my foot out, and removed the mound of 10s and 20s Pa had given me. Cecile didn't care that the money had been baking under my foot since we left Brooklyn. She took the money, unfolded and counted the bills, then stuffed them in her pants pocket, except for a $10 bill, which she held out to me. So that just gives us a little taste of the girls showing up in Oakland and trying to get to know their mom and seeing that the interaction between them isn't going to be what they thought it was going to be. So some things that we can think about are, what would you expect if you were in Delphine's shoes? How would you try to behave with a mom that you haven't seen in all those years? And who is facing bigger challenges? Are Delphine and the girls facing bigger challenges in this interaction? Or is Cecile? So some things to think about. The book is really, really great. It's again called One Crazy Summer by Rita Williams-Garcia.